In the beautiful city of Lagos, inside a big mansion, lived a tall, handsome man named Donald. Donald was an orphan. Donald was a young billionaire. He was a businessman who has built an empire from real estate and oil ventures. Donald had everything a man could dream of: fancy cars, big mansion, and lots of money that he would spend in his lifetime. His days was filled with high-stake board meetings, extravagant galas, and glittering lifestyle that many envied. Yet, despite the millions and accolades, Donna's heart was heavy with loneliness. Deep down, he felt that something was missing, a genuine connection that no amount of money could buy. From a young age, Donald had read stories of heroes and humble romantics who found love in the most unexpected places. He had dreamt of meeting someone who would love him for who he truly was, not for the fortune or status he possessed. He had dates many ladies, but all they wanted from him was his money and possession. Over time, the glamorous world Donald inhabited began to feel empty. Money, he realized, could open doors, but not hearts. Donald was so frustrated. Determined to experience life in its most honest form, Donald made a choice that would change everything. Late one night, in his opulent mansion, Donald stared at his reflection in the mirror. The man in the suit with an impeccable tie no longer felt like himself. He craved authenticity. In a moment of bold clarity, Donald decided to forsake his billionaire identity and disguise himself as a cleaner, dressed in simple uniform that will hide his true identity. One early morning, Donald left his mansion and traveled to a faraway town. As the bus took off, Donald looked through the window at the dusty road. The trip was going to be long, 7 hours of bumpy road, tight seats and noisy passengers. But Donald did not mind. The discomfort was a small price to pay for the mission he is so desperately wanted to achieve. The sun was beginning to set as the bus pulled into the dusty terminal of the small town. Donald alighted carefully, taking in the unfamiliar surrounding. The town was more quiet than he expected, with narrow streets lined with shops selling everything from vegetables to second-hand clothes. He had chosen this place deliberately, a remote town that was enough to give him a perfect disguise. He rented a small apartment. It was a single room with a tiny adjoining kitchen and bedroom. It was partly furnished with just a bed, a rickety table, and a plastic chair. But it was exactly what Donald wanted. He didn't need luxury. He sat on the edge of the bed, looking out from the window, observing his surroundings. He forced a smile to reassure himself that it was worth the stress. Tomorrow, he will begin the search for work. Early the next morning, Donald dressed in a simple clothes, putting on a trouser and a t-shirt. He held a folder of forged credentials in hand, just for formality, and set out into the town. He went to different offices, but he was rejected. At one company, the receptionist barely glanced at his resume before shaking her head. "Sorry, we can't hire you," the lady said rudely. At another company, the manager looked at him and said over his glasses, "There is no vacancy, young man." At midday, Donald's feet was already aching and he was very tired. Then he decided to go back home. As he was walking back home, he saw a poster with description "cleaner needed" at the gate of a small logistic company. He stopped and knocked on the gate. When the gateman saw him, he asked, "What are you doing here?" He said rudely, "I'm here for the vacancy of a cleaner," Donald said, pointing at the poster. The gateman said, "Ah, as young and handsome as you are, now cleaner work you want do? Anyway, come inside." The gateman directed him inside to the receptionist. The receptionist was a young lady named Beatrice. She looked up at him and said with a smile, "How can we help you, sir?" Donald said, "Good day, ma. I'm here for the vacancy to apply for the position of the cleaner." Beatrice looked at him in surprise. After a while, she said, "Okay." Then she interviewed him. Then she said, "You can resume tomorrow." Donald was very happy. He thanked her, then left. Early the next day, Donald resumed his duty as a cleaner. He scrubbed the floor, emptied trash can, and cleaned the bathroom. The work was exhausting, but Donald approached it with patience. And what even made it harder was the behavior of the other workers. The workers would throw papers on the floor, spill drinks and water on the floor. They will also drop empty cans on the floor and order Donald to clean it up. "Hey, you cleaner, come here and clean this mess," one of the workers will say. Dupe, the managing director, seems to take an instant dislike on Donald. She was proud and bossy and ambitious too. "Hey, you lazy cleaner," Dupe sneered one afternoon as Donald mopped the floor. "Is this the best you could do with your life? Cleaning floors as young and vibrant as you are? So pathetic. Come here, come and clean my shoes. They are dusty," she said, rolling her eyes. The other workers mocked. They laughed and mocked at Donald. Donald did not say a word. He just continued mopping the floor. Everyone in the company treated Donald as trash, except the receptionist, Beatrice, who showed Donald kindness. She will offer him a bottle of water and snacks, and sometimes offer to share her meal with him. Donald was surprised at her kind gesture and thanked her profusely. The days at the logistic company turned into weeks, and Donald found himself growing weaker by the day, not just from the physical toll of the work, but from the constant emotional strain of dealing with Dupe and her cling. The younger staff had made it their mission to torment Donald, always finding new ways to humiliate him and belittle him. One of the junior colleagues, Rita, was a young woman who enjoyed stirring trouble. She was loud and always looking for ways to put Donald in trouble. One morning, as Donald entered the staff room to clean, he noticed that the room was unusually messy. There were empty coffee cups scattered on the table, crumpled paper littered on the floor. He sighed and got to work, picking up the trash. Then Rita walked in, holding lots of crumpled papers. Then she littered it on the floor. Donald stared at her in disbelief. He said, "Rita, what's your problem? Why are you doing this?" Rita laughed mockingly. "You don't have any right to ask me such question. Get back to work, poor cleaner," she said rudely and walked away. Donald began picking the papers on the floor one by one. The other staff members in the room laughed and mocked him. Only Beatrice, the receptionist, felt pity on him. Then she walked close to him, bent down, assisting him to clean up the mess. Donald continued cleaning the mess in silence, anger, and humiliation. But he reminded himself that he wasn't here to fight or to argue, but he was here for a mission, and that mission must be achieved. Beatrice assisted him, and when they were done, Donald thanked her profusely. Later that day, during lunch, Donald was seated quietly at a corner when Beatrice walked to him, holding a flask containing her lunch. She said with a smile, "Can I sit?" Donald replied, "Yes, you can." She brought the lunch and said, "Let's eat." Donald hesitated, but after much persuasion, he agreed, and they ate together. That day, after the close of work, Donald and Beatrice walked down the road, gisting and laughing. The next day, as Donald was about his duties, cleaning and mopping the floor, Dupe shouted, "Hey, you cleaner, go wash my car. Make sure it's sparkling clean. I have somewhere important to go." Donald was shocked, but he knew better not to argue. When he was done mopping the floor, he went outside to wash Dupe's car. As he was washing the car, the gateman, Adamu, stood laughing at him. He mocked, saying, "Ha ha! From cleaner, you have started to wash car. Now wow, not be small thing." Donald did not even reply him. He just continued washing the car. When he was done, Dupe walked to where Donald was washing the car. She screamed, "Donald, is this how to wash a car? You are definitely useless," she said as she poured the bucket of water on him, then drove off. Donald was so shocked and embarrassed. As he stood there, Beatrice walked towards him and helped him out. The next day, by the mid-morning, Donald has not come to work. At this time, Dupe was already angry and making a scene. She said, "Can you imagine the nerve of this poor cleaner? He wants to start coming late, as if he owns this place. I will see to it that his salary is cut in half." The other staff laughed and some nodded in agreement. Meanwhile, Beatrice, the receptionist, was genuinely worried. She tried calling his number, but it wasn't connecting. Later that day, after the close of work, she traced Donald's house using the description he has given her. As she got to the door, she knocked softly, but there was no response. She waited for a while, then pushed the door open. She was surprised to see Donald lying on the bed, shivering. She rushed to him. She screamed, "Donald, are you okay?" Donald was having a fever. His temperature was hot. Beatrice quickly got a bowl of water with towel and placed the soaked towel on his forehead, trying to calm his temperature. After that, she rushed to a pharmacy, got some drugs and some food items for pepper soup. When she got back, she prepared the pepper soup, fed him, and gave him the drugs. Donald slept off like a little baby. Beatrice did not leave his side. She waited patiently for him to wake up. Hours later, Donald woke up and was looking very strong and healthy. He thanked Beatrice profusely. He looked at her and said, "You have been kind towards me since the first day I stepped my foot in the company. Why?" Beatrice smiled and said, "Nothing. It's just my nature to be kind." Donald looked into her eyes and said, "Beatrice, do you have feelings for me or something stronger? Like, if I ask you out to be my girlfriend, will you accept?" Beatrice held his hands and said, "Donald, you are a good man with free and lovable spirit. No lady in the right frame of mind will not fall in love with you." They discussed for a while before Beatrice took her leave. The next day, Donald did not show up at the workplace. Beatrice was worried, and later that evening, when she closed from work, she went straight to his house. She was shocked that the door was locked with padlock. Apparently, early that morning, Donald packed his luggages and left for Lagos. 2 weeks later, and no one have heard anything from Donald. Everyone in the company, including Dupe, moved on with their lives, forgetting about Donald. Beatrice was worried but had no choice but to accept the reality. One sunny afternoon, as everyone in the office was busy with their work, when the sound of luxury cars and siren pulling into the compound silenced the staffs, two men in sharp suits stepped out, and two policemen stepped out and opened the door of one of the luxury cars. Then a young handsome man dressed in white sharp suit with a hat stepped out elegantly. "Who is he?" someone said. "He looks like royalty," another one exclaimed. As they entered into the lobby hall, the man who was dressed in white removed his hat. The group exclaimed, "Donald!" However, Donald gave them no chance to think about anything before cutting in. He said, "I'm Donald Ifena, the director and CEO of Ifena's Empire. I came to this town in search for a wife. I needed someone that will love me genuinely, someone that will love me for who I am, not for my money or possession. And thank God, my mission was achieved. Then he knelt down gently in front of Beatrice, holding a small red velvet box. Then he said lovingly, "Beatrice dear, will you marry me and make me the happiest man on the earth?" Beatrice was surprised, but screamed excitedly, "Yes, I will marry you." Then Donna slipped the ring into her finger and they both hugged each other. Before everyone could recover from the drama that was playing in front of them, the two men in suits introduced themselves as representatives of the family who owns the company. "We are here to finalize the transfer of ownership," one of them announced. "Ifena's empire has officially purchased this company." Dupe exclaimed, "Purchase? I didn't know that the company was up for sale." The men nodded. "It was a private negotiation. Please, let's go into your office. We need to sign the papers now." Dupe led them to her office silently. At this time, she was fidgeting. She was looking so ashamed. Once the paper was signed, the two men left, leaving Donald to address the staffs. Donald lifted up his head and cleared his throat. "As you all know, I'm now the new managing director of this company. However, some of you will not be continuing this journey with us." The room felt silent as Donald continued. "Before I get to that, I have a word of advice for some individual here. Those who treated me like trash, those who bully people beneath them, those who enjoy causing others pain. Thank you, because without your bad behavior, I wouldn't have been able to identify this precious damsel beside me," he said, looking at Beatrice. "With that said, Miss Dupe, Miss Rita, and Adamu, your services is no longer needed here. We have interviewed competent people that will be taking over by tomorrow. Please make your way to the exit." Dupe barked angrily. What? What nonsense? What rubbish? What a stupid act!" As she was screaming, the security men who were standing nearby wasted no time. They dragged her out of the premises with the others. Meanwhile, Donald and Beatrice entered the car and went to a luxurious restaurant where they discussed and made plans for Beatrice to relocate to Lagos. And in few months' time, Donald and Beatrice got married in a very lavish wedding ceremony. Hi, besties. Thank you for watching my story till the end. Please kindly share your thoughts about the story with me in the comments section. Let me know where you are watching the story from. Please give the story a thumbs up. Like and share the story with your loved ones. Please support your girl Ify Best. If you have not done so, subscribe to my channel and watch the ads. Bye.